Crochet and Coffee here, and today we will be doing a whip and chat, and I will be working on a pattern that was sent to me by my dad. So that's probably why you didn't see an unboxing for it, because I didn't know it was coming until he had already sent it to me and then was like, hey, will you do a couple of these for me? So you saw his eagles, and now apparently I have angels. So yeah, so grab those whips and let's have a chat. Today I will essentially be just chit-chatting about like my trip to Montana. If you watched my previous videos, I had to go to Montana. My little girl had to go have, she had a cardiology and a neurology appointment. She has absent seizures and she had a heart murmur that we had to check on. And the results from that was great. We're upping her medicine for her seizures because she's still having them. And don't worry, they're not deadly or lethal or anything like that. They're just kind of annoying to her because she kind of blacks out and then she wakes up and she's all groggy and she doesn't know what's going on, why everybody's hovered over her. So yeah, so let's get working on this because I want to have this done. I would like to at some point start my wolf. So I have to finish this one because from what you can see, my 6-year-old completed this part. Looks good, right? She did a good job. But mommy wants to finish it because mommy can't do more than one project at once because her OCD won't let her. So mommy would like to finish this so that she can start on her wolf catcher. And I'm hoping that this weekend I will be able to be working side by side with my husband on his timepiece, which is the one with the owl. I just did the side by side video of his owl with my wolf dream catcher for Diamond Art Club. Well, I didn't do it for them, I did it for myself. And those of you who were wondering what changes were made by Diamond Art Club to their inventory and how their patterns and everything have changed. So yeah, and I got a good response off of that, so I was pretty excited about that. But yeah, our trip to Montana was great. It was the longest trip of my life. It was a 5-hour car ride to Montana from Williston, where we live. And if you have children, and of course I have 2 kids here with me, and I have one in Pennsylvania, but the 2 that came with me are littler. So like, if you've ever traveled anywhere with 2 small children, you know the joy. We weren't half an hour down the road and Maggie was already, what's taking so long? Are we almost there? I'm bored. And take it, she has a tablet with Wi-Fi and like data. And we, like I said, we weren't even half an hour down the road and she was already complaining. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be the funnest trip ever. Again, it was a 5-hour car ride. Oh, did I mention that was one way? Yeah, because apparently North Dakota doesn't have not one cardiologist or neurologist that is pediatric. So we had to travel to Billings, Montana. The drive there was great. You're going to hear Daisy bark here in a few minutes. Hold on a second. Alright, sorry about that. Daisy must have seen somebody walking past the window there and thought she was going to start barking. But yeah, we went to Billings, Montana, and it was absolutely gorgeous on the way there. I'm glad that we got to go because in Williston, our dog watcher, which is this handsome young lad named Lloydell, was telling me and sending me pictures. It was apparently raining and hailing here in Williston. So we missed the yucky weather and we got nothing but beautiful skies the whole way to Montana. And I will insert some pictures at the end of this whip and chat because they were awesome. And believe me, you know, I do photography, or I used to do photography. And with this new phone I have, it takes incredible pictures. So I have some pretty awesome shots. And if you've never been out west here, it's beautiful. I do miss the mountains of Pennsylvania, but nothing beats the sunset and the sunrise of being on the West Coast because there's nothing to block your view. So I have some pretty incredible shots, and like I said, I'll share those with you at the end of the video. But for right now, we're just gonna chit chat because I've been watching YouTube all day and I already recorded a video today, and this video will go up after that video, which will probably be tomorrow. So today is September 27th. This probably won't go up until September 28th, which is fine. Y'all don't care what the date is. Y'all just care that I'm here to chit chat with you while you work on your projects, right? Right. Because if you're anything like me it's just nice because you don't feel like you're by yourself. And I'm by myself a lot because my husband works, the kids are in school, and then it's just me and the doggies. And where it's nice to have that peace and quiet, and I probably should take a nap because, again, that trip was the longest trip of my freaking life. I'm not tired right now, but you best believe when I go pick those kids up, the moment they say, "Mommy, anything," I am going to be like, I am so tired. So, yeah, so for right now, we're going to work on this angel piece because I want to get it finished because I want to go ahead and send this out to him so that he stops asking for it. Not that he's been bugging me or anything. It's just his eagle is done, and I want to get this done because this weekend I want to dedicate to working on my wolf because I've seen what it looks like finished, and it looks awesome. And then I got like a little giddy because when I went on my Instagram this morning, I seen that Diamond Art Club had my picture up on their page for my Soul Keeper piece. And I was just tickled pink because that shows more people, you know, my work. That shows that, not only that, but it's the first time that image has been completed. And I'm very proud of that piece because it only took me a week to do. And for being a 42 by 57, I was shocked because I wasn't rushing through it. And I made a lot of mistakes. Like, I kept messing up on it. I said in my unboxing yesterday I would explain that on Monday, but I don't know what Monday's video is going to be yet. Like, I did a crochet tutorial today, so, like, I'm so random. That's how random I am. I went straight from crocheting to diamond painting. Yeah, I don't know. It's just whatever I feel like doing at that time. Like, if you don't believe me, I literally, and the video for this will be up before the diamond paint with me goes up. Like, this diamond paint with me. I literally just did this color pulling on my last video 20 minutes ago because I stopped to eat lunch. And then I was like, oh, I'll just make another video. Why not? What else do you have to do? You're not going to take a nap. Because, you know, why would I take a nap? That only makes sense, right? I'm still exhausted from the 10-hour drive and then dealing with the hospital and everything else. So yeah, like, why would I take a nap? That only makes sense. Anyways, so yeah, it was a 10-hour drive. It was nice. I got to talk to my husband, which we don't get to sit down and, like, without electronics or, you know, whatever, just get to sit down and talk. And yesterday was a kind of a special day to me. He's not a very emotional person, so he won't, like, admit it, but I think it was special to him, too. Yesterday, 9 years ago, is the day we were at a friend of mine's wedding, and it was the cutest wedding. Her and her husband celebrated their anniversary yesterday on the 26th, and I was like, hold up, something else happened today. Like, that same year, like, something else happened. I couldn't think of what it was. Well, thank you, Time Hop, for reminding me. 9 years ago yesterday on the 26th, my husband proposed to me. And so he's like, I tell him and he goes, yeah, I know. He's great with dates. Me, I'm essentially the man of the relationship when it comes to dates. I don't remember crap. Like, nothing. He remembers everything. And he's like, yeah, I know when I proposed to you. And I'm like, oh. He goes, how about we go out to dinner? I mean, we're both still tired from the trip. Why don't we go out to dinner? And I was like, yeah. He goes, we kind of, you know, didn't get a chance to eat really in Montana. So why don't we go out to dinner? So we got to go out to dinner again last night, and I was so excited. I love spending time with him and the kids, and it's just nice. And everybody gets away from electronics. We can just sit and talk. It's so nice. I love it. I absolutely love it. And so yeah, back onto this Montana trip. I'm going to be jumping back and forth. I'm sorry. But the trip was nice. There was a lot to see. My husband was explaining a lot of the, like, machinery we would see as we drove past. And, sorry, I'm going to get another boat out here because I don't want to put away that color. And I have, like, 100 boats. So this thing only has, like, 11 colors. Like, seriously, I'm not going to sit there and keep changing colors back and forth. I'll just grab another boat. And like you see, I have, like, tons of boats. And then on top of making this video, I'm also answering people's questions on Facebook. They're messaging me, like, as I'm making the video, and I'm, like, looking over to see what they got going on. I'm like, what is she asking me? Somebody was asking me about boot cuffs, and I was like, yeah, I can crochet boot cuffs. I can crochet just about anything. I crocheted a dog sweater last night. A friend of mine's messaged me while we were in Montana and asked me could I make a dog sweater. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Whatever. I'm random. This is what I do. But, yeah. So, yeah. That was one. Okay. I'm just making sure. I thought I messed up, but I didn't. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. All right. So, let's see. Did she leave everything? 11 is D. So, we got bag of number 11. And it's a tiny little pattern. So, like, I'm working out of Ziploc bags here, people. Come on. You got to ball on a budget sometimes. So, yeah. The trip was awesome. I got to spend time with my husband. We listened to an audiobook instead of music, which was nice because it's a book that he's been listening to, like a series that he's been listening to. I wish I knew the name of it, but I really don't. I was so engrossed in the story of it, I don't even remember the name of it. But it was really interesting to listen to, and he was explaining a few things from it since, you know, he's been listening. He's on book 9, and we listened to book 1, like the whole way there and back. And we didn't even finish it. It still had like 13 chapters. Like, that tells you how long this book is. He listens to it on his way out to locations. Like today, he's on his way out to location, and location is about 2.5 hours away. So he has to drive to his shop, which is 20 minutes away from the house. And then it was 20 minutes away from the house to his shop, where his job actually is, like where the building is. And then it's another 2.5 hours from there to his location. So that tells you how random his job is. So, yeah. Yeah. Hold on a second. But, yeah, sorry. Like I said, there's just so much going on right now. Like, my brain is going to, like, shoot out of my skull. So yeah, so we get to the hospital, and we didn't wait very long. Like, we literally got there on time. Now, if you're on the East Coast, you know, your time difference from me is, you're ahead an hour from me. But in Montana, you would have been ahead 2 hours from me, which a lot of my friends and family live on the East Coast. That's where I came from in Pennsylvania, so, So, like, trying to call my parents and let them know what's going on, let them know that we made it to the hospital okay, because, of course, even though, you know, I'm an adult, they still worry, and I'm not about, like, I know what it's like to worry about your kids now that I have kids, so I like to call, and, again, I'm a daddy's girl, so I called my dad as soon as we got there, and I was like, we're here. Took forever, but we're here. It did take about 5 hours, maybe 5 hours and 15 minutes to get there. It wasn't too bad. But the kids essentially played on their tablets. Maggie asked about every half hour if we were almost there because she was bored. Orion played on the tablet until he passed out, like literally bent over, like he literally was bent over like a pretzel. And I was like, that can't be good if we get into an accident. So trying to wake up this sleepy kid who was sitting on the driver's side, and I was in the passenger side because I can't drive long distances. Not out of fear. I do have a fear of driving, especially when we drive close to big trucks. But I had I fall asleep really easily in the car. And my parents can attest to that. They have numerous pictures of me sitting with my mouth wide open, sleep in the car. I can only last about 2.5 hours before, like, I will fall asleep, which is another reason why it took us so long to move here from Pennsylvania, is because it took us 3 days for a 1.5-day trip, because I kept, like, dozing off, and I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I can't drive. This is too much. Anyways. So I called my parents, let them know we got there okay. And surprisingly, like, we literally got there right on time. And we thought we were going to be late because we left late. And my husband was like, oh, I forgot the time zone change. And I'm like, the what? Now, my big thing right now is I hate the time zone change because I never remember about it. And then, like, I try to call my daughter, and she's like, Mom, it's like midnight. And I'm like, is it? Oh, gosh. And she's like, even if it wasn't midnight, why are you calling so late? I'm like, I just wanted to say hi. the time zone, people. And it doesn't get dark here. Like, it's starting to get dark here now in the evenings. But, like, over the summer, it doesn't get dark here until almost 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, you heard that right. So, trying to call her during the summer, like, that was fun. And I want that beat get off there. I'll just slide you over there. So, yeah, so the time zone thing always gets me. And then, like, I call my parents, and I think they were getting ready for dinner or something. And I let them know we got there. We get there, and the appointments went great. We first saw the cardiologist. He was amazing. He came in. He did, like, a magic trick for Maggie because he could tell she was nervous. He did a magic trick for her, checked all her vitals, checked her heart, had her, you know, hooked up to the machine and everything. She did great. I was shocked at how well she did because normally Maggie's one to, like, bite people. Maggie is the cutest little thing on the planet, but she is also very, very evil and vindictive. So, like, I always worry about taking her places, especially if it's somewhere she doesn't want to go. Yet, no, you're not taking Maggie because she will make it a point to show you why you don't take her places like that. She's not a bad kid. She just knows what she wants. She's very forward in what she wants. She gets that from her mommy. Because if mommy doesn't want to go somewhere, I'm not going to bite you. But you best believe I'm going to fuss the entire time I'm there. Anyways, so we saw the cardiologist first. He gave us great news. The holes that, you know, apparently her old doctor thought he heard. There's no hole in her heart. The holes that were in her heart have healed up completely. She has, like, narrowing of one of the valves in her heart, but other than that, she's perfectly fine. The valve that's narrowed shouldn't affect anything. She's growing and thriving the way she should, which is hilarious because we always love to hear how tall and how big the kids have gotten. And Maggie was so happy when she heard that she's 4'1". And Orion's like, I got 25 cents. And I'm like, Orion, that's not what she meant by a quarter. And he goes, oh, well, I still have 25 cents. I'm like, well, I'm glad you have 25 cents. Save it for the gumball machine. He's such a math whiz, I'm telling you. But, yeah, so then we sat and waited for 10 minutes to go see the, neurologist. The neurologist was amazing. He explained to us, you know, what was going on. He had some issues getting a hold of the old company that we went through, the old doctor's office, which if you live on the East Coast, you probably know it. It's called Geisinger. The most god-awful place on the planet. Or as I like to call it, Satan's asshole. Sorry for my language, but I freaking hate that place. And apparently they refused to give the new doctor the records because they were fussing back and forth last week because the records they kept weren't precise and correct. And we apparently have been charged for quite a few things that Maggie never received. Like tests and stuff. So we get to, you know, deal with that situation. That's going to be fun. But he let us know that, you know, the medication should be stopping the seizures and not just slowing them down, which is what I thought. And since she's still having them and her seizures are triggered by stress, which if you have children, please, if you know the answer to this question, please leave it in the comment section below. How do you keep a 6-year-old from getting stressed out? Yeah. So, like, the day of her school orientation, when they started school here, she literally had a seizure right in the middle of orientation. And like I said, they're not lethal. They're not harmful. She does fall out, which normally if we're at home, the German Shepherd, Daisy, will kind of nudge her out of the way of anything dangerous and will lay down so that if she falls on top of Daisy. And Daisy knows to Daisy will sit there and lick her face until she comes to. And if Daisy gets a hold of her before we do, we have to let Daisy do it because Daisy won't let us touch her until Maggie comes out of it. And I think it's more of a mother-hen thing. Like, she won't try to bite us, but she'll kind of nudge your hand out of the way like, no. And then if you take Maggie away from her, she will follow you, literally, like, right up your butt, follow you until she knows Maggie's okay. Like, Maggie has to pet her and go, I'm okay, Daisy, for Daisy to essentially, like, back off. So, I'm going to pause the video real quick because I'm getting a very important message here on Facebook that I need to answer real quick. So give me 1 second. All right. Sorry about that. Let's get back to this. Where was I? Yeah, so she's in with the neurologist, and, you know, he's telling us about, like, all these tests that she was given that she shouldn't have been given quite yet. She had an MRI done, and they wanted to do a dye test on her, and he's like, there's no need for all that invasive stuff. He's like, let's up her dosage first before we go, you know, putting stuff in her and trying to figure out what's wrong with her that way. Maybe if we just up the dosage, we can control it without having to do something so invasive as in injecting her with dye and then having her try to sit still in a machine. So I was like, you know, of course, as a mother, I'm like, you know, that works perfectly fine for me, because the last thing I want is my daughter poked and prodded at, and she had been screaming the entire way there that she didn't want to get stabbed with needles, because just like her mom, she doesn't like needles. I hate needles. If you know nothing else about me, I hate needles. Now, you're probably wondering, hold up, you hate needles, but you have tattoos. I do. I probably have over 100 tattoos, and I'll get them all redone all over again, but I will not do needles. Like, I can't. And I think I just placed 1 or 2 of those on the wrong. Nope, that's right. I keep thinking and this is what I did last time. I kept thinking I put them in the wrong spot, and I didn't. Anyways, so let's move this out the way, because I'm doing letter D. And this is why, I know you're yelling, this is why you don't have 2 colors out at once. I know. Forgive me. Or don't. I don't care. Anyways. So yeah, so that went great. And then they gave us prescriptions for her seizures, like an emergency thing, which the old place we went to never even said that there was a such thing. So with this being the first time I'm having to deal with seizures, I was just like, oh, okay, there's an emergency thing. And they're like, yeah, you just squirt this liquid up her nose if the seizure lasts longer than 5 minutes, and it'll snap her right out of it. And I'm like, well, why can't I just use that all the time? But then again, the seizures only last no longer than 4 minutes. Like, they're really not anything like a cerebral seizure. They're more so like, I don't even know the difference. Besides, she doesn't shake like a normal seizure. She just she'll turn her head. It looks like she's daydreaming. She'll turn her head and her body to the right, and then she just drops to the ground. And then after like a couple minutes, she comes to, and she'll say she's tired, or sometimes she won't say she's tired, and she'll just go play like nothing happened. And they apparently happen all the time, even when she's sleeping, which is why her bed is low to the ground. So in case something happens while she's sleeping and, you know, we don't catch her, which, you know, how often are you standing in your child's room watching them sleep? That's creepy. And every once in a while, Daisy will sleep in there with her. But for the most part, Daisy just kind of sleeps where Daisy sleeps. And, so yeah. So then we had a prescription sent down to the pharmacy down there in the hospital. Which I was like, oh, well, that's convenient, because then we can just take this medicine home. And the other medicine that she needed to up her dosage, because we can't just up it, it has to be slowly upped. So we're going to up it slowly with the medicine we have, and then we're going to go ahead and use the medicine that they sent here to Williston, because they sent a prescription here to the pharmacy here in Williston, and then the other emergency medicine they let us take home with us. Or at least I thought I was taking it home with us. So we get down to the pharmacy, and if, you know, those of you who've gone to pharmacies know how irritating that can be. Like, most people don't like grocery stores. I hate pharmacies, because there's always something. Always. Every time I go to a pharmacy, there's always something. Whether it be somebody sick in the pharmacy, coughing without covering their mouth, or little kids touching and messing with it. My biggest pet peeve is when I see parents let their kids, like, run around. Which, I let my kids run around. But when you let your kids run around and tear up stuff, and you're just sitting there on your cell phone, and I'm like, will you, oh my gosh, for the love of all that is holy, will you please stop your child from tearing up this store? Like, I don't even work here, but could you please? I can't handle children that are wildly running around places. I can't. My kids run around, but not like that. Like, they'll they'll play nicely with each other, but they don't run around like that. And I'm not saying that my kids are perfect. They are not. But they know better than to run around the store. So, yeah, no. Anyways. So we're sitting there in the pharmacy, and you have to walk up to this window and drop off your prescription. The lady looks at us, and she goes, it'll be half an hour. And I'm thinking, half an hour? He called this medicine to you a few minutes ago. And it's not like we were on the third floor or anything. We were on the same floor. So I'm like, what do you mean? Okay, whatever. It's going to be half an hour. Now take it. We still have a 5-hour drive to take and do. And at this point, it's 6:30. Yeah. On top of that, time zone change and all that other fun jazz. Oh, yeah. So we're sitting and waiting. And I was like, you know what? I'm freaking hungry. And I'm pretty sure these kids are too, because we had been there since freaking 2 o'clock. So I'm like, I'm hungry. I don't want anything big, because we had already planned on going out to dinner. So I'm like, I don't want anything big. Can we just go get something, some snacks or something for the kids and I, because I was hungry. And my husband was like, I'm not hungry. I want to save my appetite for dinner. And I'm like, well, that's you, but I like food and I got to eat. Like, I don't have to eat every couple of hours, but I got to eat. If you can see, these diamonds are freaking stuck together. I hate this. So what I like to do, boat crush. You hear them snapping and popping apart? Yeah. And again, I'm reading messages over here, so forgive me if I get quiet for a second. I'm trying not to pause the video too much, but I might have to pause it so I can pay attention to one thing at once. I have squirrel syndrome really bad today. So yeah, so we're sitting there waiting. We go to the cafeteria, which is right next to the pharmacy, so that was convenient. We go get snacks, and I got the kids a couple of donuts that they hated because they were cream filled and jelly filled, and they'd never had that before, and of course they didn't like it. So they asked me why I grabbed forks when I got their donuts. I'm like, you'll see. Yeah, I knew they weren't gonna like it. And they didn't, so we used the forks to scrape all the stuff out. Mommy ain't dumb. Mommy knows what they like and don't like. Where they do like Maggie got a jelly donut, and she does like jelly. I knew she wouldn't like it in a donut. But try telling that to her. Remember, I'm supposed to keep her stress-free. So I can't really be like, oh, you're not going to like that. And I think I actually did tell her that, but she didn't, of course, listen because she's Maggie and she's 6. So we eat our snacks, and my husband's like, I can see the irritation on his face, and I'm like, well, what's wrong? And he's like, I really want to go eat dinner. I really am ready to just go home. And I'm like, yeah, you and me both. So I was like, let's go up to the pharmacy. It's been about 25 minutes. By the time and of course there's a line. So by the time we get through the line, it should be like 6:40. So that maybe that, we can leave at some point today. Maybe we can end up back in Williston today. So we go, get back in line, and then like I said, by the time we got up to the counter, it was 6:45. Like, we waited in line another 15, 20 minutes. We get up there, and the lady that's filling the prescriptions, because there's always that person in the back that's filling the prescriptions, she's back there giggling and talking on her cell phone, and and of course, that got me irritated, because I'm like, who is you talking to? Unless it's a doctor, you should not be talking to anybody on the phone right now. Like, you should be focusing on your work. So I was just like, we should leave it alone. Just stop. Because my husband gets really embarrassed when I, freak out in public. So I try to contain that. And I don't really freak out. I hate when I see stuff like that. And I'm like, hey, how about you knock that off and do your job? Like, I didn't come here to watch you chit-chat on the phone. Like, he hates when I do that. So I try to tone that down for him. Because I don't want to embarrass him. That's rude. But that day, and he even said it, I'm glad that, he was just glad that he didn't have to handle it, because he was getting severely frustrated, because we go up, and of course, the prescription, after, 35, 40 minutes, still was not ready. Now look at these diamonds. This canvas was purchased off Amazon. It took it probably 3 weeks to get here. And then, of course, which is why I don't like buying canvases and stuff like this, like from like AliExpress and stuff. Because I hate dealing with diamonds like this. Where I buy the kits I buy, again, I would rather have quality over quantity. And I'm not going to find a bunch of diamonds stuck together, a bunch of trash in the diamonds. Like, you would not believe the amount of trash that I had to pull out of these diamonds. Which, from one bag, minus this, from one bag I pulled out all of that. Yeah, it was ridiculous. Anywho. So yeah, we're at the pharmacy, and the lady's like, it's still not ready. There's a problem with the insurance. And I'm like, well, what's the problem with the insurance? Now, my husband has good insurance, obviously. He works in the oil field. So I'm like, what's the problem with the insurance? And I know they take the insurance because our doctor sent us there. And of course, doctors aren't going to send you somewhere where they don't take your insurance. So I'm like, you know, what's wrong with the insurance? And she's like, I don't know. And what I wanted to say was, if you got your happy tail off the phone, then maybe you would know. But again, I'm trying not to embarrass my husband. So I'm like, oh, okay. She goes, but if you give us a couple more minutes, you know, we should have it figured out. And I'm like, oh, okay, a couple more minutes, whatever. I can be patient. I got kids. I got all the patience. So we're sitting there. Another 20 minutes goes by, and I go, okay, something ain't right. They still ain't called us yet. Like, what's going on? So I go over. I can't even pick up one of these freaking diamonds. Jeez, And where did it go? Oh, there it is. Don't you love when that happens? So yeah. So another 20 minutes goes by. My husband goes up and he goes, what's going on? And by this time, as you probably already guessed, the kids are getting tired. They're hungry for dinner. It's almost 8 o'clock. And we're still sitting there. And I'm like, I'm going to take Maggie out to the car because Maggie was getting tired and she kept having to go potty. And yeah. So I was like, I'm going to take Maggie out to the car. Why don't you and Ryan sit here and chill out and wait for the prescription? You know, if you need me, call me. I have my cell phone. So I left and went out to the car with Maggie. Well, 20 minutes goes by and my husband's still not there. And I'm like, unless you found a new wife, why is he not in the car yet? Like they said it was going to be a few more minutes. So I message him and I go, what's going on? Did they give you the medicine yet? And he goes, no. I'm like, what do you mean no? He goes, I have a feeling you're going to have to act out. I'm like, what do you mean I'm going to have to act out? He goes, now they're telling me that it's something that they have to wait for the doctor to approve something. And I was like, oh, well, if the doctor's going to approve it, that lady was already on her phone talking to, you know, whoever. So I figured she was talking to the doctor. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know, I'm trying to be patient. And Maggie, of course, is in the car and she's like falling asleep. So I can't leave her in the car by herself. And so I guess 10 minutes later, he messages me. He goes, I'm coming out to the car. I need you to come in here and act out. And I was like, okay, so now you need me to act out. And he's like, yes, because now they're trying to tell me that, again, there's something wrong with the insurance. I was like, yeah, come back to the car, which was like a 2-second walk from the building. Like you just, where we parked at was, which is cute. They had a parking space for like, you know how they have the parking spots for like pregnant women and stuff like that? Well, they had one for people with small children because you're at a pediatric place. So like if you have small kids, you don't want to walk 4 miles from the parking lot to the building. So they had a space for like little kid parking. And so we parked there because, of course, our children are little. So he comes back to the car 5 minutes later, and he's mad. His face is beet red. He's irritated, and I'm like, what is wrong? He goes, they keep giving me the runaround. They're giving me one story and the next story, and I don't know what's going on. Could you please just go in there and show out? Because he knows when mama shows out, things happen. So I was like, all right. I get out of the car. I walk to the pharmacy, and I hear somebody go, oh, snap. The mom came back. Now, take it. These people don't know me. But she saw from the look on my face and the way I was walking in there that, yeah, no, I wasn't walking out of there with some kind of solution. And so the one lady literally had been sitting there before we even put our prescription in. So she had been sitting there for had to have been almost 2.5 hours waiting for a prescription. So that just tells you that it's not just me, you know, being impatient. She literally had been sitting there for almost 3 hours waiting for them to fill a prescription for her. And they had like 2 people filling prescriptions and then 2 people at the counter. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay. I go over to the counter where it says, you know, drop off, because they always have that separate counter for drop off. So I go over there and I'm like, look, hello, somebody. And the lady goes, mother or parents of Magdalene Tepper. And I was like, oh, look at that. It only took you 2 years to call me. So I go over there. I'm like, okay, so this is her meds. I know what to do with them. If you could just let me pay for it, I'll leave and, you know, I can be done and go home. Oh, no, ma'am. We're having a problem with the insurance. Y'all know I got hot, right? Y'all know I did. You know I did. Because how long did I just sit here and wait? By the time I finished yelling at that lady, she was crying. I don't feel bad about it. I really don't. I should, but I don't. I was mad because all that time you're sitting there giggling on your phone, and then you're sitting there having to wait for the doctor to call, but you're on your phone. And you don't, before you go, well, she was probably talking to another doctor. Giggling and laughing the way she was didn't seem like it, but she very well could have been. But my guess is going to be no, she probably wasn't. So I was irritated at the fact that she had been on the phone. And I know it was a personal call because I heard her say, I love you too, I'll see you later. So, yeah, so I know she was on a personal call. And I'm sitting here, and I had already told them we have a 5-hour drive. So the quicker we get this done, the quicker we can be out of here and, you know, go home. I had to tell this lady 3 more times that we have a 5-hour drive because she's like, if you could just wait an hour while we call the insurance. At this point, it literally is 8:15. We still have a 5-hour drive. We still have to eat dinner, okay? And I'm sitting here like, you have got to be joking me. Now, I didn't curse at the lady. We were in a hospital. I'm not trying to get kicked out. But I did fuss her up and down and let her know that this was unacceptable and that I would not be staying waiting for this medication. It wasn't necessity anyway. Like, it wasn't like her everyday medicine. I actually had that in my purse. But it wasn't acceptable of the fact that she made us wait for that long to still have nothing to give us or nothing to show for the amount of time that we waited. And she sat there with those, like, sad puppy dog eyes, like, how could you talk to me like this? And I'm like, look, you told us that the girl already filled the prescription. The girl at the counter had already filled the prescription because she felt bad because we had a 5-hour drive and we were still there at 7:30. So the girl at 7:30 went and filled the prescription, so the prescription was sitting there. It was the lady in the back that was supposed to be making all the phone calls that was too busy talking to whoever she was on the phone, giggling and laughing, that wasn't doing her job. So as I'm fussing at her, I'm like sitting there thinking to myself, I know it has to be a hard job working in a pharmacy. There's a lot of drugs you have to memorize, and you got to make sure you give everybody the right amount, and the, you know, this and that, blah, 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 blah. I'm pretty sure it's a hard job. But if someone comes up to you and goes, I have a 5-hour drive, I would like to get this done as quickly as possible. Now, we sat in that building for a good 45 minutes before we actually even went out to the car. So if there was any issues with the insurance or whatever, she could have came over and said something, or she could have called us over and said something. She never did. Never did. And where she could have been filling other prescriptions, that's perfectly fine if it wasn't for the fact that the one lady that had been sitting there before we got there was still sitting there. And even after we left, we still were watching her still sit there. So I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not waiting for this. And she's like, well, if you can just give me your credit card information, I'll write it down. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's happening. In this day and age, you actually think I'm going to give you my credit card information? Especially after I just yelled at you. You got to be out of you must have fallen on the bump of your head. She had to have bumped her head, y'all. She thought I was going to leave her my credit card information. Now, take it. I know my credit card information like the back of my hand. I can give you every number on that credit card. I wasn't about to give it to her. There was no way in the world about to give it to her. I don't trust you. I don't trust my husband half the time. Mainly because I know if he has a chance, he's going to trick me or scare me. But yeah, no, I'm not trusting you to. No, just no. So I get back out to the car and I have this big grin on my face because, you know, I felt pretty good about myself because I told her about herself. And then went back out to the car and my husband looks at me and he goes, okay, so where's the meds? I'm like, I don't know. He goes, did you just go in there and yell and not get the meds? I'm like, they don't have them. He goes, what do you mean they don't have them? She bagged them up. I'm like, well, yeah, she bagged them up. But they still have to figure out what's going on with the insurance. And he starts fussing because she told him that they were waiting on the doctor, not the insurance. Like, they had figured out the insurance. Now, they hadn't figured out the insurance. And I was just like, I don't know what they're doing. I just know I'm not waiting for it. So let's go out to dinner. So we went out to dinner. Everybody had calmed down by the time we finally found Applebee's, because it's one of my kids' favorite restaurants. It's one of the few restaurants here in Williston. So it's like, right now, that's their holy grail right now, is Applebee's. And, so we get out to Applebee's, and everybody's ordering their food and everything else, and me and my husband get, like, their 3 for whatever deal. Like, the 3 entrees, appetizer, and whatever. Like, I think my meal was, like, $11.99 altogether, and I got, like, a salad, cheese sticks, and 3 cheese penne pasta. And I wanted to try it because a lot of times when we go, my husband gets that, and it always looks so good, but I don't, of course, ask him for any because that's his food, and I have my own food. And I was raised, when you get your food, if you wanted something somebody else got, you should have ordered it. So I don't, like, steal food off his plate. Like, he'll feed me some every once in a while if he wants me to try it. But other than that, I'm not going to take food off his plate like that. That's rude. So, more beads stuck together. That's refreshing. So, yeah. Our stuff comes out in a timely manner. Our waitress was really nice. She had these cute little piggy tails in her hair, which was, you know, cute. Well, we get our entrees, and the kids have, at this point, have already gotten halfway through their food because their food came out with our appetizers. And, I start eating mine, and my throat starts feeling funny. And I'm like, something doesn't seem right. My husband looks at me, and he goes, "You okay? You look a little flushed." And I'm like, I don't know. My tongue hurts and my throat hurts. I don't know why. Now, for those of you who do know, or now for those of you who don't know, I have a severe allergy to seafood. I can't have any form of seafood. I had a cheese stick about a month ago, maybe not even a month ago. I had a cheese stick and I immediately got sick off of it. And like my husband had to Benadryl me up for the night because it was either that or call the ambulance. It was bad. But I'm starting to feel funny. My tongue feels funny. My throat, it was getting really, really hard to swallow. I started getting dizzy and lightheaded, and I couldn't figure out why. I ordered 3 cheese penne pasta. If you haven't already guessed it, I'm going to tell you. It's called cross-contamination. Someone in the back must have touched a seafood dish and then touched my plate. Or touch my food. Like if they didn't wash their hands before they touched my food, or they didn't put on new gloves and they just touched shrimp and then touched my food, I'm guessing it had to be one of those options because, yeah, I ended up going and getting sick. I come out of the bathroom, my husband's like, we have to get you home. And I was like, I really want to go home right now. So he helped get me in the car. He got the kids in the car, and then we took off. We didn't end up leaving Montana until almost 11 o'clock. Or 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. I'm going to say it was 10 o'clock. We didn't end up getting back to North Dakota and getting home until almost 4 in the morning. That was like a really bad trip. But the good news is Maggie's doing okay. And we get to go back and make that trip all over again in 3 months. Right before Christmas. When there's snow on the ground. Oh yeah, that's going to be freaking fun. But again, I won't be driving, so I won't care. I'll probably just sleep. Sounds like they're mowing. Oh, nope, street cleaners. Can't really quiet out the street cleaners, so y'all going to have to listen to the guy slowly go by on his street cleaning Zamboni thing. So yeah, so that was our Montana trip. It was quite eventful, especially towards the end. Getting there wasn't eventful. It was just me taking pictures to the point where my phone died halfway through the trip because I left my camera on because I kept snapping pictures of everything and like posting them online. Which, again, I will post a few pictures at the end of this video. If you want to see more of the pictures from our Montana trip, you have to go over on Instagram and Facebook to Alicia Harris Photography. And I'll link that down below. But, yeah, so that was fun. But I promised a story about the Soul Keeper, so I'll tell my story about the Soul Keeper. You're hearing Daisy moan because apparently she's tired of life. My Soul Keeper, which is the lion that I just completed for Dharma Art Club, I loved working on it. It worked up really fast. There wasn't a whole lot of black. It might look like it, but there really wasn't. There's a lot of 939, but not a whole lot of 310. So yeah, so as I'm working on the piece Friday, and I told my husband that I would have it done by Sunday, and he was like, well, we don't have plans this weekend, so, you know, I'll try to help out as much with the kids as I can so you can work on it. And I, you know, thank you, I appreciate that. And while he was home Saturday, he did, but Sunday he had to go to work. He got called into work. Luckily, the location wasn't too far from the house, so like he didn't have to leave out super early, but still left me home alone with the kids, and I don't like to completely zone out on my crafts while the kids are here, so I was just kind of like, oh, okay, well, you know, I'll figure out something, but I really want to get it done because I wanted to have that trophy of having it be the first one completed, because I known of another YouTuber that had gotten the canvas after I did, and if I'm guessing correctly, I remember I'm thinking she might have seen my video for it and ordered it or something. I don't know. Because it took it a while to get to my house, but when I posted the unboxing of it, she said she had it, and I was like, I wonder if she saw my video and went and got it. So I wanted to be the first one to have it completed, so I was like, I will have this done by Sunday. And I did, but not without many fits thrown by the canvas. Excuse me. Let's see. First, there's a color in there that there's a green and a gray. And they don't look alike, but when you're colorblind, they do. They look exactly alike, actually. And I had misplaced and put these gray beads in the wrong place. Not once, but twice. After taking off over 200 diamonds, I had replaced them with the other beads to find out that I had it right the first time. So then I had to take off all the incorrect ones yet again to put on the other ones. And if you've ever worked with diamond painting and taken beads off the canvas and put them back in your tray, you know that those beads are now sticky on the back. So working with them is going to be a pain in the butt. And it was. It was very unpleasant, and I got through it until that evening when I wanted to lose my mind and I was going to shred the canvas because I was so irritated. I realized that I misplaced the beads yet again in a different section, but a bigger section. Luckily, I have the best husband on the planet who then pulled out these tiny needle nose plier things, or tweezers, from his vaping kit. Because he has a buildable mod, so he can, like, make his own coils and stuff. He pulled out his tweezers, and he just got this set, so they were clean. And he started helping me pull off all the beads that were done incorrectly in that big area, which is the area around his face. We sat there for an hour and a half pulling off beads that weren't supposed to be there, and then sat there for another hour and a half putting the correct ones in place, because when I did it, there was no one home to tell me that it was wrong. And then when I started realizing that it didn't look right is when I changed it, which I shouldn't have, because it was right. And then I went back and did it again. And so I was irritated with myself for doing it, so I essentially was just like, yeah, I've had enough of this canvas. I can't do this anymore. And like always, my husband's always super supportive, and, you know, he gave me that little bit of encouragement I needed, and instead of tearing that canvas into tiny, tiny pieces, I went ahead and completed it, and I'm glad that I did, because it looks absolutely amazing, and I absolutely love it. So, yeah, the joys of being colorblind. Well, I got quite a bit done. I didn't finish it, but it shouldn't take me long to finish it. It's not like there's a whole lot here. It's a partial. And if you know me, I hate partials. I don't see the point in them. Go big or go home, people. I want my whole image to sparkle, not just parts of it. So, that's just my preference. Oh, one last thing before I go, because I have to go walk the dogs before I pick up the kids from school. But one last thing. So I was looking up diamond paintings because I want, of course, when you make, you know, channels and stuff like this, you want your channel to stick out. So, like, I want to go to these companies that, you know, are getting a bad rap and see why they're getting a bad rap. Like, I want to be the news reporter of YouTube for diamond paintings. I mean, because I don't need to do it for yarn, because it's yarn. It's all yarn. But diamond paintings, everybody's always wondering where's to get the best price for your buck. Like, or the best quality product for your buck. Like, and essentially that's what I've been trying to do. And my videos lately have been with Dorman Art Club, mainly because I love them so much. They have such great customer service. And, you know, if I have a question or a comment or something, you know, somebody's going to answer me back. I don't know necessarily who, but they're going to answer me back. And I absolutely love it. Like, I love the hands-on customer service, and I'm not talking to a robot. Like last night, I tried talking to New Frog to ask. I was asking them a question, and I placed an order with New Frog on August 31st, and I have still yet to receive that package. They thought I was messaging them because of the package, and I was like, no, for those who are ordering a canvas from you, do you offer e-packet, which is a service like UPS and stuff that allows your package to come, you know, sooner. So I was asking them, did they offer that? And whoever I was talking to kept telling me that they were sorry. They told me to wait another week for my canvas to come in. I'm like, I'm not even talking about my canvas. And honestly, at that point, I had forgotten I had gotten that canvas. But I was like, I'm not even worried about that right now. I'm just wanted to ask you a question. And I just literally, and they ended up giving me like a 10% discount or something off of my next purchase. I'm like, why would I purchase again? I haven't even got my first one yet. And it seems like with a lot of these companies, if you order one diamond painting, it takes that one diamond painting almost 2 months to get to you. But if you order more than one, you will get them a lot quicker. I learned that from watching YouTube. And I was laughing because last night this lady got a package from Peggy Buy. I don't remember who I was watching. But she got a package from Peggy Buy. And she's like, it was here in 9 days. And I was shocked and blah, blah. And they apparently sent it to her. That's one thing that's different from me. I'm not going to allow them to send me packages because that tries to... I feel like that's coercing. Like, I don't want you to coerce me into good ratings with me. So, no. You can give me a discount if you want, but I'm not going to take it for free to do a review unless you want an honest review and I tell you that I'm not purchasing your stuff because it's too expensive. There is one company like that, which I'm about to mention in a minute, which they weren't offering me anything free. It was just that they're expensive. And I'm like, for people who are balling on a budget, they can't afford to pay for this. So let me go back to where I was with Labe ordered something from Peggy Buy and they express shipped it to her and she didn't even realize it. And she was just like, in the video, like, it only took 9 days to get here, blah, blah, blah. And then I guess I read in the description box that she read the thing and it had been expedited to her. But if you read the thing on expedition of those packages, those are supposed to come in 5 to 7 days. And it still took it 9 days to get there. Like, they sent it to her expedited to have, so she could have it within a week. And it still took it another 3 days or 2 days. So I'm like, yeah. That's a company I probably won't buy from. Which, of course, Peggy Buy is an affiliate company with, you guessed it, New Frog. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting that package. I might as well just get that refund right now. But there's one company I've had my eye on. I don't hear a lot about them. Like, there have been videos about them on YouTube. I'm not saying that I've never seen a video. But I personally want to... this D11. I want to try them, but they're freaking expensive. And I tried contacting them, and, you know, they were kind of rude. And they were like, we're hoping you're not making a review about our company based on our prices and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I just had some questions for you so that when I do buy and I do get it, I can answer those questions to those on my page that might have the same question. Because just to get an item from this company... Sorry, Daisy's barking at somebody at the window. Daisy, do you mind? Daisy? Daisy, please? I'm talking. Don't talk back to me. Daisy. No, ma'am. Oh, she hears a dog down the hall barking. Daisy. And now there's people walking down by my door. Which is hilarious because most of the time people hear her and they like run away from my door. So, which is, I guess, what just happened. Anyways, so I wanna purchase a canvas from this company, but their canvases are like really expensive. Like there was like a 42 by 60 that was like $98. And I messaged them to ask them what makes their company so much different than everyone else's, because they're based out of the Philippines. And with that said, the company's called DIY Moon. Now, if you've ever been to their site, or if you haven't, it's $40 shipping. Now, you'll have it within 2 to 3 days or something, or 3 to 5 days. And you're paying that $40 for that. But on top of that, their canvases are like extremely expensive. And they're like a mom and pop shop, I guess, where, you know, it's a family owned company, blah, blah, blah. And I asked them what's made them stick out from all the other companies out there, because, you know, I can't imagine spending $40 on shipping and then still having to pay $80, $90 on a canvas. Like, I'm cheap. At this point, I'm not even really balling on a budget. I'm just cheap. And I don't want to spend $40 for you just to send something to me. And a lot of their canvases aren't even really big. They're not like huge canvases. They're all like smaller canvases, like 30 by 40, 30 by 30, stuff like that. Which, of course, if you know diamond painting, you know it's not going to give you the best quality image. Now, I'm pretty sure there's a way on there to get a bigger size, but I didn't want a bigger size. I just wanted a couple little. When I try a company out, I always buy one small one to try them out. First, to see how long it takes to get here. Then to see the quality of the thing, because if it has good quality and it doesn't take long to get here, more than likely I'll order from them again. Key and Point, Diamond Art Club. I've ordered, so far this is my second order with them, and I'm about to place a third. Yeah, you heard right. Don't worry, I won't bore you with another unboxing, because I think we've seen enough of Diamond Art Club on my page for right now. Unless something else changes with them. You know, you guys have seen enough Diamond Art Club. You know they're awesome, so go check them out. But it's number 10 here. I left a couple of beads out. Where did they go? There they are. So yeah, so I'm looking around and I see, and I asked them about, you know, the $40, and they're like, well, if you can't afford to pay, like they were trying to, like, it almost felt like they were insulting my intelligence. And they were just like, well, if you can't afford to pay the $40, you can go halves on it with a friend. And I'm thinking, one, I don't have any friends in North Dakota that do diamond painting. So yeah, that's out. And unless you're planning on shipping from the Philippines, one package to the East Coast, one package to the West Coast, yeah, that's not happening either. And I'm like, yeah, that's not a viable thing for me to do. And for a lot of people, it's not a viable thing to do, because where you might have diamond painting friends, who's going to spend $40 on shipping? Good Lord, could you, like, you guys have to take a look, at least go take a look over at DIY Moon Shop online and just check out they are hella expensive. And there's no reasoning for it. Like, when I asked, there was really no reasoning given to me besides it's the best quality, and there's, like, you get to watch a video of her packing your stuff up. I don't care about her packing my stuff up. I care about the fact that you're charging me $98 for something that's smaller than the 42 by 57 I just did. And it's not going to have the best quality. It's not going to be your best work, but you claim that all of your stuff is your best work. And I'm like, that just don't fly with me. I can't. What? No, I can't. I can't justify that, like, at all. I really, really do want to try them out. And you can ask my husband. I say it all the time. I want to try them out. I want to see what makes them different than everybody else. Because it's one of the few companies you don't hear a lot about. And now I know why. It's because they're so expensive. People are so spoiled by the AliExpress site, where you can go get, for the cost of one of their diamond paintings, you could probably go get, for the cost and shipping of one of the diamond paintings from DIY Moon Shop, you can probably get like 50 or 60 canvases off AliExpress. So which one do you think everybody's going to pick? AliExpress, right? Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like they're hurting for business or anything. I'm pretty sure they're not. They seem like they're well off there with their little business. And they have like this like diamond club that you can be a part of, that you get this cool little like triangle bag of something. I don't know. But I can't see spending that much money on one item. And then they're like, well, that's why we tell you to take advantage of getting more than one item. No, that's how you sucker people into buying more than one item so that you make more money and we go broke. Because I'm sorry, that seems more like we need to make money, so how can we trick them into spending their money? Here, let's make shipping an outrageous charge so that they'll buy more than one canvas so that shipping is justified. And literally, I picked out 2 canvases, and with the 2 canvases I picked out and shipping, it was going to cost me $145. And they were probably like a 30 by 30 and a 40 by 45 or something like that. Yeah, no. No, I can't. I can't. But anyway, that's enough rambling for me. I got a lot done today. I'm going to finish that up later. But thank you guys for joining me on today's Whip and Chat. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comment section below, and I will get to them as quickly as possible. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me those thumbs up. Hit the like and subscribe button there off to your side. You can also hit the bell if you want to be notified whenever I put up a new video. So with that said, until next time, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!